All right, this is the next video in trying to save Jewel, the pulsa-jet Briggs and Stratton mower. I've taken the gas tank off. I know the fuel's got to be really old, so I'm just going to grab one of my tanks that I've got here. This one I've repaired with some JB Weld because it was leaking there. I've put this carburetor on with a new diaphragm and gasket. Primer bulb looks good. It's a pretty new looking carburetor. It's got the gasket inside and the retaining clip, so this will just slide on there. But I do need to do some housekeeping first. Let's see if I can get some of this junk out, because these are air-cooled engines and you don't want a bunch of stuff blocking these fins. And I got a bunch of stuff in here. Once I clear the surface dirt out, then I'll be able to put a little probe down and kind of push it out the bottom to get the rest of it out. But this is pretty messy. It acts like a insulating blanket on an air-cooled engine, and you don't want that. Trying to get as much of this out as I can. A lot of it always gets behind this guy. Let's see if I can grab some of that down in there. At least pull it out. There's so much of this grass debris. It's going to add to the heat that this engine needs to dissipate. So it's like putting an overcoat on in the summertime. All that's going to help a little. Let me see if I can poke this down here now and push this out the bottom. I'm pushing this stuff down between the fins, so it's sometimes easier to push it out than it is to try to lift it out. All right, I'm seeing daylight now. I'm seeing daylight around the fins now, so that's good. All right, now let's go ahead and install our tank. I want to clean around this manifold some. And put a little drop of oil there. Here is a little honey bear. Now I need to do a better job of that. Hang on. Get this toothbrush in there. Okay, I'm going to put one little drop of oil on there just so the tank will slide on easier. Let that kind of run down around the bottom as well. And so I've got to find the linkage that goes from here to there. So let me grab that. All right, so that is this guy. And the short end, the short end of this, that's the long end, that's the short end, is going to hang from the top down, then over. And so that's going to grab this big hole in that butterfly valve, and this is going to go on there. This this L hook. So that's got to get it on there. Come on. Okay, now I can turn it and make sure you turn your grommet towards that crankcase tube. And now this should just slide on there real nice. Okay, see that? That's good. Now I'm looking to see if this screw hole is lining up, and it is. My repair job on that tank does not appear to be creating a problem where it's not flush. It looks like it's going to fit okay. All right, so now I need to find my 3/8 screw and get it started. I don't want to cinch it up yet. I do want to get it started. All right, here's the little spacer. Gotta have that, very important. That's going to go between the tank and the engine. Oh, that magnet will help me. That's good. I like that. So that's holding that in place. And then here's my tank screw, 1/2 inch. I'll push this down where it all lines up good. Come on, you. There we go. Okay. So now I can start to tighten this with my 1/2 inch. Now I'm going to grab a 3/8 screw because I want to be able to have it in place, to hold it in place, at least temporarily. So let me grab a 3/8. I'm just going to put that in there. Just do a couple of little thread turns, not too many, just to hold that in place. And now I can cinch up this 1/2 inch. So that's good. A little more oomph. Now we'll tighten up the 3/8. There we go. So grab that. That is solid as a rock. Now I don't have the little gasket that goes on top yet, so I'll have to get one. I think I've got one laying over here. But you know what, I'm not going to worry about that right now. What I need to do is go ahead and finish showing you the correct linkages for these springs. But the first thing I'm going to do is lock this in place. I don't need that. That's the old style of throttle, and we don't need that. We want to be more modern than that. So let me get my flat nose pliers to grab that with. That's the best thing to use. Oh, they were laying there the whole time. Anyway, you see this big flap right there? I'm going to bend that down, and that's going to keep this from moving. So here we go. I know my arm was probably in the way, but you see that? If it's going to move, it ain't going to move much. The other thing I can do is pop it a little closer there, see? Maybe even go a little bit more. See, that's not going to be moving this spring much. That's pretty stable. And that means this is always going to run at the optimum speed, not too high, too low. Don't need that anymore on modern engines. It's either on or it's running at the right RPMs. Okay, let's get our CARB springs. I'm going to see if I can use the old ones, maybe reshape them. Right, these are the old ones that came off of there. They were linked to the wrong places. This loop is all stretched out, but I'm able to bend that to get it to where it's at least usable. So let's try that. It may just break off. If it does, that's okay. I'll figure out something else. Okay, it is kind of coming around. I'm trying to bend it. There we go. That's a pretty good loop. All right, now what you do with this end is like a paper clip. You push it through and then pull back, or you can just come from the side and pull this way. Let me see if I can show you this. See this little paper clip thing here? It's going to go through. It's going to go through that loop. All right, so we're going to go like this and pull it towards us. Boop, it's in place now, see? And so now you swing this end of the spring around, and it's going to go in there. And I think I've repaired it enough to where it might be all right. This is going to kind of twist a little bit, but that's okay, just as long as it stays in place, see? Now it's under spring tension, so it's not going to come off. It's not going to come off there because it's under spring tension. And see, it's starting to work like it's supposed to. The way they had it, it was super tight. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. All right, and you'll see that's no different than right there. Now the other little spring, this guy, has been broken, and it goes into this end here, that end there, goes into that tiny little hole there. But I'm not sure if that's going to stay in place, so I'm going to try and bend that. These often break because they're so thin. Let me see if I can sort of bend it. I'm trying to restore these springs to where they're at least usable. Okay, that might stay. See that? All right, so I'm now hook this into that hole. I've got to kind of bend the spring a little bit where it'll go in there. Okay, so now it's in that hole. That is not much. Oh, I told you the wrong thing. I told you completely the wrong thing. Let me pull this out. That is totally wrong. This spring end does not go there. It goes through the loop. So both springs attach in that loop. But that, I don't know if that's going to stay. It might. Let's try it. Okay, it's in there. And now we come over this way. And it's going to come in on the thin side. And it'll come on the far side here. I don't think that's going to stay in place. I've got to make some kind of a loop. I've got to make some kind of a loop on this spring so it'll stay in place. Okay, that might stay. Let's try that. And now come on the far side, and then pull it over this way. Okay, and so that spring is now also being used. See how it's under tension. And you can make fine adjustments to the RPMs by moving this and bending that. But I kind of like that right where it is because I've done enough of these to know how much tension you want on these. And That's about right. Okay, so let's take a break. Oh, you know what? Yeah, let's take a break. I think that's enough for now. When we come back, I'm going to put some fuel in this tank and make sure it primes.